just letting you know how it is. It's kill time.
Drill Tank TV checking in once again. Hey man, Birdman been making egregious headlines. They said he quick to knock you on your back and lay your toes in the air. Now they saying he put out more hits than Michael Jackson, but miraculously just beat it. I don't know. After this, he might be going down like the Titanic. I don't know. Stunner better get low though, cause they saying he done ushered more niggas to their death than a pallbearer. Without further ado, we go jumping in this here, and I'll be right back like we left, son.
I see the way you treat a real. Rest in peace, Killer Stone. You could never treat me like that, though, because you already know.
Birdman says something to the effect of, "Don't make me show you what these tattoo tears about." He pulls up on you and gives you a gun. So he hands you a 38 and says someone owes him some money, and go handle that?
Yeah, come on. Brought me around the corner, point him out, shoot him.
Bitch, Lil Wayne, my son, I raised him. He ain't had nothing. I brought him to be something.
At the core of every human being is a desire for power. Now, some of us suppress that instinct and go through life without the need for power or control. Others will own that innate desire and work towards it. But if it crosses their morals, they simply won't do it. But some, a very select few, will let nothing get in the way of their strive for power. Firstly, they will lie to your face and feel nothing about it. And secondly, they'll cross anyone, even those closest to them. And most importantly, they'll even take someone's life and not lose a second of sleep. All if it means that they will retain their control and elevate their power.
I see the way you treat a real. Rest in peace, Killer Stone. You could never treat me like that, though, because you already know.
Birdman says something to the effect of, "Don't make me show you what these tattoo tears about." He pulls up on you and gives you a gun. So he hands you a 38 and says someone owes him some money, and go handle that?
Yeah, come on. Brought me around the corner, point him out, shoot him.
Bitch, Lil Wayne, my son, I raised him. He ain't had nothing. I brought him to be something.
Damn, he capping.
At the core of every human being is a desire for power. Now, some of us suppress that instinct and go through life without the need for power or control. Others will own that innate desire and work towards it. But if it crosses their morals, they simply won't do it. But some, a very select few, will let nothing get in the way of their strive for power. Firstly, they will lie to your face and feel nothing about it. And secondly, they'll cross anyone, even those closest to them. And most importantly, they'll even take someone's life and not lose a second of sleep. All if it means that they will retain their control and elevate their power. Often, these select few people will rise to influential positions due to their ability to cross lines that most human beings would never cross. Well, in this video, we take a deep dive into one of the biggest music moguls of all time, a man who made it from the poverty-stricken streets of New Orleans to Miami mansions and Grammy Awards. But kind of like the Diddler, there's been a whole lot of questionable activity along the way. Ultimate disloyalty, thievery, attempted murders, and some truly sick accusations. Today, you will be exposed to a truly evil life behind all of the glitz and glamour. So get ready, because this episode will blow your mind. But before we get into it, the story begins in 1960s New Orleans, the most magical time in the city's history. A massive oil industry, booming tourism, and a strong middle class. This is all what brought some money to New Orleans, and a lot of locals, well, some locals took advantage. None more than a man named Johnny Williams, an uptown native born in 1920. Since a young age, Johnny was known as a hustler, as he opened restaurants, bars, and a whole bunch of laundromats all over New Orleans. Basically, Johnny was a local celebrity. Like, everyone knew him, especially the ladies. But sadly, he had a serious medical condition. As a child, Johnny was diagnosed with a tragic disease. Doctors would inform him that he's allergic to latex. No, for real.
Hey man, chill out, man. Hold on.
Johnny started popping out babies basically every year as an adult, because by the time he was 40, he already had 21 kids that we know of. Well, after getting half of New Orleans pregnant, Johnny decided that he wanted to settle down in his 40s. In particular, he started a relationship with a woman named Gladys Brooks, somebody who was special to his heart. He liked her so much that he actually opened a business for her. He bought her a home on Saratoga Street, turned the bottom of it into a bar and music lounge, and then let her live upstairs. Together, this was a perfect pairing, as Johnny was a business-savvy entrepreneur and Gladys was a popular woman that everyone liked, and they would come see her at the bar. Well, after this kicked off, they began having children together in 1964. First, they'd have a son named Ronald, then a daughter named Kim, another son named Ray, and finally a son named nothing. Yes, you heard that correctly. Let me explain. Unfortunately, Johnny and Gladys didn't have a perfect relationship. In fact, it was pretty far from it. Johnny was an extremely busy person, with 25 kids to take care of and then over 12 businesses to run. With this situation, being a present father or partner is pretty much an impossible task, even to the point where he never made it around to signing the birth certificates of any of his kids with Gladys. So given this, their first 3 children together were named by her and took her last name of Brooks as well. Then when it came to their last child together in 1969, Gladys simply couldn't think of a name. So instead, she simply decided to refer to her newborn as Baby.
Oh, okay.
This lasted for quite a while, but eventually the unnamed baby would be named Brian Brooks. Well, despite all this, Miss Gladys and her kids actually lived a pretty good life early on. The kids would be upstairs while she was operating the bar, and if they ever needed her, all they had to do was walk downstairs. And then once they got old enough, they began helping around the bar and actually getting to watch live music every single night. Because of this early exposure to music, all of her children were naturally inclined. But not only this, they were also exposed to successful entrepreneurship right in front of their eyes. So despite being raised in the hood, they were...
And Johnny was fucking like a jackrabbit, but he must not have been in the streets like that, man, because why would you put her below the motherfucking bar where everybody, can... Man, listen, that back door was wide open.
All destined for success based on their direct influences. But then out of nowhere, tragedy strikes for the family. In 1975, Miss Gladys Brooks would sadly pass away due to health complications.
Rest in peace.
The family was absolutely crushed, and now the kids were left in a devastating situation. They lost their beloved mother out of nowhere, something that children can simply not comprehend. Gladys was their everything, and sadly, the situation would get even worse. Because Johnny never signed their birth certificates, the kids would instantly become wards of the state once their mother passed away. This meant that he had no custody of them, and now they were sent off to foster care.
See what I'm saying?
The kids were separately sent off to foster families across the region, and this was truly devastating, especially for the youngest. Baby was just 6 years old, and now to not only not have your mother around, but now not have your older siblings, truly sad. Well, Johnny knew that this was a bad situation for his kids, so he fought tooth and nail to try to get custody, but this wasn't an easy task. Like at this time, how do you prove that these are your kids? They don't have your last name, you never signed the birth certificates, you were never married to their mom, there's literally no proof. So after not being able to gain custody of the kids, Johnny's brother decided to step up. He adopted all 4 children and had them move in with him way up in the remote town of Prince George, British Columbia.
Damn.
Freezing cold in the middle of nowhere, Canada, but at least this is better than the potential horror stories of the foster system. Well, after 2 years of getting his shit together, Johnny was finally able to gain custody. He purchased a home on Valence Street in the 13th Ward, a nice middle to upper class black neighborhood. 2-story homes, manicured lawns, Catholic schools, an overall good neighborhood. And when the kids weren't at school or at home, they'd be riding around with Johnny as he checked on his various businesses. They were able to closely watch him run his businesses on a daily basis, soaking up all kinds of knowledge. In particular, the oldest son, Ronald, also known as Slim, he was obsessed with money and hustling. Slim was quiet his entire childhood, never talking, but always being observant of everything his father did. He was also extremely patient, as he wanted to fully understand business before trying to start his own. While on the other hand, the youngest son, Baby, he was quite the opposite. Baby's personality was loud, flashy, intimidating, and aggressive. He was a smart kid as well, but he loved everything that came with the money, not just the business itself like his big brother. So from his early teenage years, Baby was eager to get rich and flex, by any means necessary. Well, that fast forwards us to the year 1981, when OG Johnny gets into a new relationship with a woman named Miss Patricia.
Papa's a Rolling Stone, huh?
So before meeting Johnny, Patricia lived in the grimy Magnolia Projects, but once they got into a relationship, Johnny invited her and her children into his home. Obviously, taking her and her kids out of a dangerous neighborhood is a good thing to do, but it wasn't necessarily a good thing for his own children. I say this because her son named Eldrick Wise clicked instantly with Baby, and let's just say that Eldrick was not the best influence. You see, Eldrick grew up in a whole different environment, violence, hustling, and a whole lot of violence. And given this, despite being just 13 years old, he was already knee-deep in the streets. And unfortunately, Baby looked up to Eldrick and he began rolling with him every single day. And to make matters worse, he brought him to the Magnolia Projects and introduced him to the neighborhood crew.
This is my little brother. His name Baby, huh? Yeah, bitch, what up?
He was instantly infatuated, and just like that, a 12-year-old Baby started running with the Magnolia crew. He always wanted to be feared, fly, and respected by everyone, and this was his perfect opportunity. But in this era, even just being fly and getting girls could get you knocked off in New Orleans.
What down?
The formerly booming city in the 1960s was no longer that, not even close. The entire gas industry moved over to Texas, and New Orleans lost half of its population. This resulted in abandoned houses everywhere, lack of police funding, and pure chaos all over the streets. The drug game pretty much took over all the neighborhoods, and this resulted in a whole lot of turf wars. In fact, by 1980, the small city of just 400,000 people was averaging 240 murders a year. Just small neighborhood crews everywhere, knocking each other down over territory, but also for no reason as well. New Orleans truly became a city of jealousy, to where if a guy got rich and started getting girls, everyone would try to kill them. These are the streets that a 12-year-old Baby decided to jump in. Baby, Eldrick, and the rest of the Magnolia Boys began taking over blocks throughout Uptown. And I know this may be hard to believe, but by the age of 13 or 14 years old, Baby was already running the crew. He was a natural-born leader, and then with the business experience that he learned from his father, he was like an unstoppable force. He allegedly started a drug operation based out of the Magnolia Projects, and he had a bunch of little dudes selling on different corners. Well, obviously, doing this in a rough city made him and his guys serious targets, and the rivals, well, they wanted them gone. But Baby knew that expanding territories would be dangerous, so he needed a remedy.
I don't know, man. I need my Magnolia. You know what I mean? New Orleans, all that, man, to tap in, man. Baby was running the whole yard. Man, he was running everybody at 13. Damn. Other nigga know.
A remedy of a bunch of young crashouts that are willing to knock someone down just to send a message. He was truly willing to do whatever it takes to get rich and to take control of the New Orleans streets. He needed certified hitmen, and this is when he calls on someone that you'd never expect.
Who that?
It's now 1986, and Baby is a 17-year-old New Orleans superstar. He's got money, power, and respect, and everyone looks up to him, but none more than his little brother who he's never met. This would be an 11-year-old by the name of Terrence Williams, one of Johnny's numerous younger children. And even though he's never met him, he idolizes his big bro, based on what everyone's told him about.
Your big brother a superstar. You got me here one day, son. You gotta do that, yeah.
And that day would finally come in 1986 when Baby would roll up to Terrence's mom's house. It's a regular day like any other, and Terrence is at his mom's house watching TV. This is when he hears speakers knocking outside, so instantly he runs to the window and looks outside. Boom, right there is Baby in a brand new SUV with two girls in the back. So the 11-year-old Terrence is excited as ever. Oh my goodness, my big brother came to see me. So he runs outside all excited, and this is when Baby tells him to hop in the passenger seat. So of course he hops in, and boom, this is when a firearm is pushed to the back of his head. This is not what Terrence was expecting, but now in the situation, he has no choice but to do what Baby says. This is when he quietly pulls off and drives him to a specific corner. He then hands him a 38 and points to a man standing on the corner.
So he hands you a 38 and says someone owes him some money? And go handle that?
Yeah, come on. Brought me around the corner, point him out, shoot it.
So this is when Terrence, with no other choice,
Damn, he ain't even greedy. Me say, get your bitch ass in the car, motherfucker, and drove him around the car, around the corner and said, man, nigga, go ahead and handle that, bitch, and we gonna do something to you. Look, bro, man, these motherfuckers is crazy.
hops out of the car and walks up to the man.
Walk up, shot him to the head, the chest, and in the back, because he fell. And I ran, instead of me jumping back in the car, I ran back home.
This is how evil Baby already was. He was willing to turn his little brother into a killer if it could benefit his organization. But it also goes to show that he has the truth.
Hey, I'll be tapping into the New Orleans shit, man. Uncle OG, what OG murdered somebody. He said shit. Terrence, he wasn't even one of them little Johnny kids or something, man. He just got in where he fit in and shit. That's why Baby be using him like
true mind of a manipulator. Firstly, he took advantage of the fact that he knew his little brother idolized him. Because he idolizes me, I guarantee he's willing to do anything I say just to impress me. And he also knew that because he committed this atrocity so young, he'll get used to it and he'll be willing to do it again. And sadly, this is exactly what would happen, as Terrence would become a true hitman for his brother, and if you want to learn about it, go watch my video. He forced his little brother into the life of crime in the worst way possible. And for this reason, sadly, Terrence Williams would be the first victim of surviving Birdman.
That's a mop top, gang.
He became an integral part of Baby's empire as the Magnolia Boys got more and more violent. In fact, it was so bad that the Uptown neighborhood alone averaged over 100 murders between 1987 and 1991. Yes, you heard that correctly. 100 murders per year in one neighborhood alone, and these guys were a big part of it. They were stacking millions, driving fly whips, and catching a whole lot of bodies. And the worst part about it is that these guys were getting away with all of it, especially Baby. In this era, you could literally get away with anything, especially in New Orleans. Like, nobody took the police seriously. Even the idea of getting caught was laughable to Baby. That could never happen. So really, Baby had no reason to stop what he had going on. Well, at least legally, because he still had to worry about the ops putting him in a casket. He was making millions, he had every girl in New Orleans, and he was never going to get caught. Why the hell would he stop? But Baby always had bigger dreams, and all this was just a stepping stone to get there. He knew that he wanted to do something with music, and now that he had a bunch of money, he knew that he could put something together. So in 1991, with the help of his highly intelligent big brother, he decided to start a record label. And he named it after his favorite thing in the world, Cash Money, and he even came up with a logo on his notepad. At this time, independently starting a label at 22 years old was unheard of, as usually you'd have to go to New York or LA and get put on by a guy in a suit. But Baby and Slim were already millionaires on their own, so they didn't need anyone's help to sign artists and distribute records. At this point, they had the money saved, the record label, but they needed artists. Unfortunately, at this time, New Orleans didn't really have any rappers, at least not any that were known outside the city. Because let's be honest, making a good song with those goofy-ass accents is not an easy task. So together, Baby and Slim started scouting the city for young talent.
Goofy-ass act, man. Listen, man, when that high dropped, man, we were like, man, what the fuck? Who? Man, these niggas sound like... Hey, we was on that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Quickly, they discover a 15-year-old rapper by the name of Kilo G. Kilo was known for rapping in the school hallways and rapping in the neighborhood as well, and this is how he got his initial buzz. Well, when Baby and Slim got the chance to hear him freestyle, they were instantly impressed and they signed him right away. Cash Money's very first artist, and they were certain they could make him into a star. But this didn't exactly happen, because his first album flopped. And after this embarrassment, Baby and Slim were like,
nah, brother, this ain't gonna happen again.
So they basically put Kilo on the shelf and began looking for something else. What they learned is that boom bap rap does not work in the South, and that Louisiana listens to a whole different tune, a unique genre known as bounce music. This was basically the only thing that locals listened to, so Baby and Slim figured that if we can bring this to the national stage, it might work. So in late 1992, they signed a bounce artist by the name of Michael Pettis, also known as Lil Slim. Now, Michael is definitely a local legend, but his music did not make it past Mississippi or Texas. But regardless of flopping, Michael would actually play a very important role for Cash Money later on, as you'll see. Well, after going 0 for 2 for their first artist, Cash Money was not going to give up. Not yet. So over the next couple of years, they kept signing more and more artists, hoping to get their break. And finally, they found their gem. Straight out of the Magnolia Projects arose a group known as UNLV, and it originally comprised of 2 members, Lil Yacht and Tech 9. And from what we know, these dudes were like the original King Von. Bow, bow, bow. Real certified New Orleans headhunters, but also some very talented rappers. They were straight up the first rappers to rap about killing and actually go do it. And let me just say that in 1993, rapping about killing someone and throwing their body into the Mississippi River was not a common theme. And because of this shock value, UNLV were an instant success. They took that grimy New Orleans street life and masterfully put it on records, while these guys brought Baby his very first record label success, and because of this, you'd think he'd have some loyalty to them. But you knew better. After their successful debuts, UNLV would add another member, a man by the name of Albert Thomas, but commonly known as Yella Boy. Yella Boy was a very talented rapper, there's no denying that, but Birdman did not want him to join the group. Not for any musical reasons though, but simply because Birdman just didn't like him. This is because Yella was a very confrontational person and would never stand down to no man. And as we know, Birdman liked his artists to glaze him. But when Yella Boy joined the group...
Hold on, man. Hey, man, they said Yella Boy was on Birdman ass like a back pocket and he pulled up like a diaper and got the...
That's when they dropped their biggest hits, so Birdman couldn't really kick him off the group. They were doing numbers and selling out shows, but that's when Yella Boy was like, hey, when are we going to get paid for real?
Yeah, where that money at?
He felt like something isn't right and the money's not adding up. And because of this, tensions between him and Birdman began to rise.
Yeah, we need that moolah, bitch.
Where my money at, bruh? Man,
we need all that.
Stand this dude. Eventually, something is bound to pop off between Baby and Yella Boy. It's late summer 1996, and today is a very important day for UNLV. In the afternoon, they're booked to have a professional video shoot for their upcoming album to be featured on MTV and BET. This is a huge potential stepping stone for the group, and it really could take them to the mainstream stage. Well, the video is supposed to take place in the daylight with the sun setting over the bridge, so everyone is expected to be at the set by 6:30 at the latest. Baby arrives, Slim arrives, the camera crew arrives, security arrives, but where are the rappers?
Where they at?
2.5 hours go by while everyone impatiently waits for their arrival. Well, as it turns out, Lil Ya had agreed to pick up Tech and Yella from their homes and drive them to the shoot, but unfortunately, he fell asleep on his couch. Finally, he wakes up at 8 p.m. and rushes to get ready and to pick up his friends. However, by the time they arrive at the set, the camera crew already went home, and all that's left is Baby and Slim, who are absolutely furious. We just wasted tens of thousands of dollars on a professional video shoot just for you guys not to show up? Hell nah, bruh. And this is when Baby makes a strange decision. Instead of confronting the member who's driving, he walks up to the back seat and begins chewing out Yella Boy. So Yella hops out of the car confused, like, bruh, it's not even my fault we're late. The fuck are you yelling at me for? But Baby just continues to rip into Yella, calling him all sorts of names and embarrassing him in front of his fellow group members.
Say what?
Lil Ya even barges in and says, hey, it's not his fault we're late. It's literally my fault. But Baby doesn't care. And this is when it's clear that the outburst has nothing to do with being late. This is just Baby's first opportunity to really pop off at Yella. So Yella gets back in his face and he's like, you're worried about us being late and you owe us a bunch of money? Nah, bruh. This is when the other UNLV members say, hey, y'all need to stop, just fight it out one-on-one and let's get it over with. So Birdman and Yella Boy agree to take it back to the hood and have a one-on-one fight. Everyone heads off separately towards 4th and Dryads, right in front of Yella Boy's grandma's house. At 10:30 p.m., Baby and Slim roll up to the block, and there's Yella Boy on the corner with his shirt off, drooling, just waiting to put hands on Baby. Instantly, Baby hops out of the car and they start throwing hands in the middle of the street. Boom, boom, boom. They throw haymakers back and forth, but Yella's getting the best of him. So this is when Slim jumps in to try to break everything up. Nah, bruh, let him fight. Tech is not feeling this, so he grabs Slim and he tries to hold him back. This is when Slim flails his arm back and smacks Tech in the mouth. Oh, hell nah. Tech is pissed and he starts throwing punches at Slim.
Slim tried to step in to break him up, and Tech, now he's on now, stole it off on Slim.
It turns into an all-out brawl in the middle of the street, UNLV versus Cash Money. Eventually, they all run out of stamina and it cools down. Now it's a silent, awkward situation, and everyone quietly goes their separate ways.
Damn, so they said Bird thought he was going to do what he do and shit. Yellow fuck around and treated him from the shoulders and Sugar Slam. You know, he popped in and slapped the motherfucker, got slapped, something like that, man. You know how that shit go, man. Hey, New Orleans, tap in. And this is how the story went. Shout out to Swamp.
This can result in one of two ways. Either the fight solved all the tensions and now they can all be cool and push it under the bridge, or they have to go to war with each other. And typically in the streets of New Orleans, the latter is going to take place. But no, Birdman actually calls the UNLV members and tells them to forget about it. Everything is water under the bridge. So this stops everything from potentially getting violent, at least for the meantime. So long story short, directly after this, UNLV would drop their final album under Cash Money Management. And of course, the album does really well. So now the members are like, okay, are we going to get a next contract or at least get paid?
UNLV was getting hot in the city, blowing up. And it was time to, I think, renew the contract or something. And Yella was like, man, first of all, we hot, we blowing up, we want a nationwide deal. We tired of this local stuff. Baby like, man, you got to be patient. See, Baby had money from the streets.
Oh, okay.
So he good. Yo, coming from the hood selling crack. So it's like, man, listen, we got some hot songs. They're trying to get us a big deal.
As it turns out, it was really not water under the bridge because Baby would not sign them under any circumstance. So UNLV are like, all right, bruh, it is what it is. We'll just do this on our own. So this is when the group decides to start their own label, UNLV Records. And in order to do this, they hire some lawyers to put everything together. Well, when the lawyers go through their Cash Money documents, they're like, something ain't right. Cash Money owes you guys a lot of money. You were only paid a fraction of what you deserved.
That's when, we went to discovering like, damn, everything we done had this and, had that name, nothing without in our name. So.
Hey, man, so that's why you got to know, man, somehow, some way, man, no matter all these motherfuckers that's taking up claims against Birdman, they respect him like a pistol. They still want to do business with him. Why you want to do business with a motherfucker that been taking you for everything you done had?
That's when the attorneys came and play and shit like that. And we found out that, we had some unpaid royalties.
And of course, once the members are shown this, they're extra pissed. Like, firstly, you refused to re-sign us, even though we were your first success on your label. But on top of this, you owe us a boatload of money? Oh, nah. Instantly, Yella Boy wants to do something vicious to Birdman, but the other members are like, chill, if you do that, we'll never get our money. On top of this, the lawyers ensure them that they're going to take Cash Money to court and that they will get them their money. So UNLV's lawyers take Cash Money to court, and at this point, Baby has no choice but to pay up. So this is exactly what Baby does, and we'll get to that in a minute. But what's important now is that two of the members actually believe that it was an honest mistake on Baby's behalf.
I don't know how clear to put it, but they didn't know what they was doing. So, I can't say that they straight got us. They don't play that play, boy. If they did, they would have made sure that the I's was dotted while they was doing it.
So for two of the members, Tech 9 and Lil Yeah, they were all good with it. Just give us our money and we'll go our separate ways. So this is when Baby calls them, tells them to drop the lawsuit, and says, I've got your money here. Just come get your check. So instantly, two of the UNLV members head over to Birdman's Eastover estate. They knock on the door, he opens up, he hands them their checks, they read it, it's all good, no funny business. And after handing them their checks, Baby's like, hey, where's Yella Boy? This is when they tell him that Yella Boy doesn't want to come see you, and he'd rather you hand us the check and then we'll give it to him. Baby is not feeling this. Nah, bruh. If he wants his check, he's gonna come get it from me. So the two UNLV members are like, cool, sounds fair enough to me, and they go off and cash their checks.
Yella wasn't there to get it. Baby wouldn't release it with us. He told us to tell Yella to come get his check.
Per usual, it's yet another power struggle between Baby and Yella Boy. When Yella finds out that Baby wouldn't give the check to his fellow members to deliver to him, he's pissed.
And he like, man, where y'all at? And I told him, he was like, man, what Baby, man? I said, call him, he looking for you to get your paper. Yella was already burnt up. Y'all was like, why the fuck you ain't give it to y'all for me? Went off, you know what I'm saying? Went clean off.
Instead of being mature and just going to get his money, Yella makes the dumbest decision possible. He does head to Baby's Eastover estate, but not to collect any checks. Instead, he pulls up to the gated community with a chopper and unloads into Baby's house and into his car. He absolutely sprays Baby.
He said, hold on, bitch, so we done threw hands and you still trying to play with my little cash right here? Man, we got to get this understood, bitch, check it out.
Baby's property with bullets.
Some angry shit, he was pissed off, something went on with him and Baby, and he went shot up the house in the car. Yella shot Baby house and car up.
Oh, we wasn't playing with her.
Thankfully, no one was home, but either way, this was a major deal. Shooting up Baby's house of all people in the world, man, especially when he's trying to give you your money. Well, needless to say, when Baby would get home later that night, he'd see it and he instantly knew what it was. This was one step too far for Yella Boy. And that fast forwards us just 3 days. April 5th, 1997. It's a fun day for Cash Money as they have a concert in the small city of Lafayette, Louisiana, just a couple hours away. At this point, they've got Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, BG, and they're just the hottest thing in the South. So for this event, all of Cash Money pop out, including their biggest stepper, Terrence Gangsta Williams. Well, maybe not all of Cash Money would come, and you'll see why I say that. So while this concert is going on, Yella Boy's at his grandma's house on 4th and Dryads. He's sitting on the couch watching TV and probably regretting the decision he made. Like, if I would have just went to go grab my check, I wouldn't be at my grandma's house right now. Well, at 11 p.m., he gets a mysterious knock on the door. He looks through the people, recognizes who it is, so he opens up and lets the man in. From there, he and the unknown man sit on the couch, and that's when the man whips out. Just like that, a New Orleans legend is gone with the wind. The tragic loss of a former Cash Money artist. Who could have done this? Just like that, a New Orleans legend is gone with the wind. The tragic loss of a former Cash Money artist. Who could have done this? Well, to this day, nobody's been arrested for this, and there's no proof to point in any direction. But there is a clue in the form of a song. Baby would release a song called What Happened to That Boy, and a lot of people believe that he's talking about Yella Boy. What happened to that boy? We'll never truly know if the song's about Yella Boy, but what we do know is that Yella Boy didn't really have beef with anyone else.
I didn't hear about Yella beefing with nobody during the time, you know what I'm saying? Nobody, the streets wasn't saying none of this shit during the time of it, so.
Whether or not Baby's the one who ordered the hit on Yella Boy, we'll never know. But even if we assume that that's the case, is Yella Boy really a victim of surviving Birdman? I mean, he kind of left him no other choice. You shot up his house and his car. I mean, what if somebody was in there? But whether or not Baby is justified in allegedly doing this is not actually my biggest point here. An important topic to remember from this is bad business practices and Baby allegedly finessing his artists.
So remember that, boy?
Well, sadly, Yella Boy would not be the only former Cash Money artist to fall out with Baby and lose their life. Well, now we carry over to a widely forgotten piece of the Cash Money puzzle, their original artist, Kilo G. Now, Kilo's career never panned out, but some people feel like it really wasn't his fault. And when I say some people, I really mean him himself. Kilo felt abandoned by Baby. Like, once he found his next artist, he completely put him on the shelf and never talked to him again. Now, it's objectively true that when Baby found better artists, he put Kilo on the shelf and focused on them, which is really the only smart thing to do. But Kilo still felt like he sold him a dream full of empty promises. Now, at the end of the day, business is business, but when you're dealing with New Orleans, these dudes have a crabs in a bucket mentality. In the city, a lot of people blame their own failures on others, and when other people start doing better, they begin hating on them. So put yourself in Kilo's shoes. You were Cash Money's very first artist, and quickly everyone else passed you up, started living lavish, and you're still in the hood. And because of this, word got around the streets of New Orleans that Kilo was speaking bad on Baby and starting all kinds of rumors.
Fuck Cash Money, y'all did me dirty.
Even though these words in the grand scheme mean absolutely nothing, Baby does not like being talked about. January 15th, 1998. It's a random Wednesday afternoon, and a 20-year-old Kilo G is at his mom's house in the 7th Ward. And this is when he's paid a visit. So Kilo gets up and looks through the peephole. He recognizes the man at the door, so he lets him in. And when he turns his back to go sit on the couch, sadly, the man whips out. Now, the targeting of Kilo could have been anything, as it is New Orleans at the end of the day. And on top of this, there is no proof that Baby or Cash Money had anything to do with it. However, the way it happened is awfully similar to... Never mind. I'm a journalist, not a police officer. Let me stay in my lane. But either way, it is notable that two of Cash Money's very first artists were murdered after getting into it with Birdman. Now this begs the major question. Do you believe that Kilo G is a victim of surviving Birdman, all because he started some rumors and was talking shit? So now after covering these two important losses, we shift the video's focus to something completely different. And that takes us to the other side of Uptown, specifically Hollygrove, also known as the 17th Ward. Here's where a boy named Dwayne Jr. was born in 1982 to Hasida and Dwayne Carter Sr. Hasida was just 19 years old at Dwayne's birth, and sadly, the couple had no money. And to make matters worse, just a year after Dwayne's birth, Dwayne Sr. would divorce his wife and move to a different state. This sadly left Hasida in the hood with no money and to raise her son alone. This left her no choice but to pick up jobs as a maid and a cook in order to make ends meet. It was definitely a struggle, but then out of nowhere, a major blessing would come into their lives. A blessing in the form of a new boyfriend, a man who would change her life and her son's forever. This would be a man named Reginald McDonald, but commonly known as Rabbit. Rabbit, kind of like Baby, is known as a legend in his hood, specifically the Goose, located in New Orleans East. Here, Rabbit is a well-known hustler, known for always having a bankroll. While during Wayne's childhood, Rabbit actually stepped up as a real father and took care of him on a day-to-day basis. This entailed teaching a young Wayne how to write raps and to rap on beats as well. You see, also kind of like Baby, Rabbit was a hustler because he had to be, but his true passion was music. He always wanted to start a record label. And once he discovered his stepson's natural talent, he was like, oh my god, we got action. And because of this, he nicknamed him Lil Tune, which even catches on to this day. Well, long story short, the point is that Rabbit taught him music early on and had dreams of one day building a career for him. He even started a record label called Buff Records and knew that Wayne was going to be a star. Okay, so now let's get back to the plot. We fast forward back to the year 1993, and a young Dwayne is now 10 years old. And on this particular day, he's at a family gathering, and he begins rapping for everyone. Well, at the gathering happens to be Cash Money Bounce artist Michael Pettis. And let's just say that he's blown away by Dwayne's rapping.
Man, this little boy can rap, you hear me?
He's stunned by the 10-year-old's talent, and without saying a word, he leaves the gathering and drives straight to Baby's house. Yo, Baby, this might sound crazy,
but I just heard the best 10-year-old rapper I've ever heard in my life.
Now, of course, Baby hears 10-year-old boy and gets all excited. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, Baby is intrigued and he's like, please bring him to me. So instantly, Michael returns to the family gathering.
Man, what? Hold on, man.
And he walks right up to Dwayne's mom. He says, excuse me, is it okay if I bring your son to Baby at Cash Money Records?
Oh, hell nah. Absolutely not.
Now, usually a mother would be geeked to let her son meet a millionaire CEO for an opportunity, but not in this case at all. You see, Jacita went to school with Baby's big brother Slim her whole life, and she knew what they were all about. I am not going to let my son be corrupted by these bad dudes. He's good at home with me and his dad, Rabbit. Let me reiterate, there is zero chance that my son will be around this evil man.
His parents went to school with my brother and sister. Honestly, when he was young, I met him through another guy named Lil Slim. But when he was young, his mama didn't want him around me.
Not only was she worried about what he could do to her son, but she also felt like we don't need his help. Like, Rabbit already has a music label and his own money. The fuck do we need Baby for? So for the short meantime, they did their absolute best to keep their young son away from Baby. But then comes 1994, and a now 11-year-old Wayne has a mind of his own. He knew that Baby was rich and locally famous, and he kept begging Michael to please bring me to him. And eventually, Michael would give in. Behind Jacita and Rabbit's back, Michael would bring a young Dwayne to Baby. And let's just say an 11-year-old Wayne was in complete awe. The cars, the money, the mansion, and a beautiful music studio. And once he got his first glance at the lifestyle, it's all he ever wanted.
He just kept coming. He wanted it. He wanted the life. And I just wanted to help him because I didn't want him to live my life. I just saw some young bro with some talent and I thought I could help him. And that's what I did. I just saw some little youngsters lost.
Oh, fuck no, Swan, what the beat building up to? Damn, don't let me know that Birdman, he ain't gonna knock off Rabbit, as they said, ain't so, man. Man, what the fuck is going on?
Like I was at their age, and I wanted to see how I could bless them.
At first, everything is glitz and glamour. Dwayne's introduction to Cash Money was like a dream come true. But then, as Jacita warned, things start to get downright evil. As we know from his little brother Terrence, Baby will take advantage of a young person's admiration for him, and he'll create a power dynamic where they'll literally do anything he says. And although he wouldn't make Wayne go spin a block and kill someone like he did Terrence, he would do something that might be as bad. And this isn't according to me, it's according to Wayne himself.
No!
Now, because of guidelines and me not really wanting to get into this, I'm not going to go into full detail, but if you want to look this stuff up, you definitely can. But here's a video of Wayne talking about what Birdman made him go through.
I got when I was 11, Twist. I ain't never pressed charges. I'm gonna do you like baby them did me. I'll never forget that day. They was all in the kitchen. I was scared. You don't understand. I was a different man after that. I was Lil Wayne. After that, yeah.
Although he's talking about it in a joking manner, it's really not that at all. Think about it. Being forced to lose your innocence by somebody that you revere and look up to, it has to be confusing, especially for an 11-year-old. But at this point, we know that it's all a part of Baby's tactics. He did it with Terrence, and now he's done it with Wayne, creating a power dynamic where the child will feel compelled to do whatever he says for the rest of their life. Baby wanted ultimate control over Wayne, to the point where he started calling him his son, and then Wayne would call him daddy.
What the hell? It's my son, man.
But here's the thing. Wayne already had a present father in Rabbit, and Rabbit already had his own record label, and for a long time, he planned on signing Wayne. And this is the only reason why Wayne couldn't sign to Cash Money, at least for the meantime. July 20th, 1997. It's a late Friday night in New Orleans East, and Rabbit and his boys are outside partying. The night goes smoothly, and at 2 a.m. the bar closes and Rabbit walks to his car. Then two of his friends tell him that they're too drunk to drive, and they ask him for a ride home, which of course he agrees. So instead of driving home, he heads the opposite direction, headed to his friend's house in the 9th Ward. Well, on his way to dropping them off, he pulls over to get gas on Morrison Road, probably the most dangerous gas station you could ever stop at. He pulls into the gas pump, hops out, and this is when all hell breaks loose. Tragically, a man in a hoodie unloads at Rabbit.
Damn, they fucked Rabbit over too?
To this day, nobody knows who did this or why it happened. Some say that Rabbit crashed into the car in front of him, and then the man hopped out and crashed out on him. But others say that it was a planned attack, and somebody followed him to the gas station. But either way, the tragic loss was devastating. Jacita lost her beloved husband and provider, and a young Dwayne lost his father.
Stunner, you better run,
Now,
boy.
there's no evidence to say that Baby had anything to do with this, and I'm not accusing him. But the truth of the matter is that after the passing of Rabbit, Baby would step up as Wayne's new father figure. The now 14-year-old Dwayne had dropped out of school and was now a full-time rapper living with Baby. Now this begs a major question, probably the biggest question of the story. Do you think that Baby put out a hit on Rabbit so we could have full control of Lil Wayne?
If you think we did, hey, we do. That's your narrative. We love it.
Well, after the passing of his father, Rabbit, Wayne would go ahead and spend all of his time with Cash Money. He became Baby's next biggest protege, but he also somehow became his son. Strangely, Baby started calling him son, and Wayne started calling him daddy. To me, this is strange. Actually, not just to me. Calling somebody who's not your father or stepfather daddy? That doesn't make any sense. Needless to say, this is a very creepy dynamic.
Damn, so this bitch ferocious. He done took all his little pops and shit his stepdad that was doing for him and shit. He said, man, fuck that. You ain't about to sign to him, bitch. This guy's money.
And somehow it gets even worse.
Whoa.
It's May 2nd, 2002, and Cash Money make their appearance on MTV's Rap City. And just take a look for yourself.
He ain't catch that man in the lip. Hold on, man. Hold on. He ain't never kissed that man in the lips. Chill out, gang. What the fuck going on, man? What?
Kissing Lil Wayne on the lips on live TV? I mean, whatever floats your boat. Well, because this occurred before social media, it didn't really spread like it should have. But for those who witnessed it on TV, they were like, that's odd. Not only do you call your CEO daddy, but you also kiss him on the lips? What's all that about? But to me, it's actually not odd. Instead, it's a display of Birdman's power dynamics. Even though we're both now adults and you're a superstar in your own right, and we're not related, I'm somehow your daddy and you serve me. And to me, doing this on live TV was strategic symbolism. Just a very strange power dynamic that frankly, we have no idea how deep it goes. No pun intended. But on the bright side, after this, Lil Wayne's rap career would explode. His albums The Block Is Hot, The Carter, and The Carter 2 would all be major Billboard successes. Then in 2006, Wayne and Birdman would collab on an album. an album called Like Father, Like Son. Ugh, a lot of people felt iffy about this. Why are you calling a man who's not your father? It definitely brought side eyes to the situation, but then a picture would come out that made everything worse. In the earliest days of social media, a picture of Lil Wayne and Birdman kissing would go viral on the internet.
Man, stop this. Man, what? Come on, man. This shit can't be real, man. They was kissing like that back in the 90s. Tap in, man. Let the motherfucker know.
Man, these dudes are supposed to be gangsters and they're kissing each other on the lips.
But believe it or not, things get even stranger. On 106 in Park, Lil Wayne says that he's the only person that Birdman kisses.
I gotta ask ladies.
Oh, yeah, they saying that ain't not AI, motherfucker. He done kissed that man on the lip. Real.
I got y'all up here. So you kissed a girl, right?
Hey, I'm not a person he kissed. I'm not a person he kissed. I'm not a person he kissed. I'm not a person he kissed.
Oh, yeah, see, Wayne, he had him brainwashed and shit. I'm glad he aged out of that shit, man, because look here. That nigga Birdman, he was running his whole motherfucking program. Nigga, he didn't took all that money from him and said, bitch, hey, we'd be surprised if this the only shit we heard. You hear me?
That's how I roll. Man, I can't put somebody else, man. We roll like
okay, now.
Ain't no free. We just roll like that.
Damn, so he said they roll like that. He was kissing all them hot boys, man, Juvie Turk and all that. Man, I don't think Juvenile was going for that there, man. Come on, man. That's
my son. I raised him, you heard?
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Man, what the hell? Again, Birdman would clarify on Westwood TV.
That's my son. You hear me? If he was right here, I'd kiss him again. You hear me? Like, it's my daughter. I kiss my other son. That's my son, man. I'll do it again, do it tomorrow. I'll kill for him, ride for him, and die for him.
So he double downs on it and explains that it's just a father-son situation, except that he's not his father and he's not his son. And as we know from the prior disgusting situation when Wayne was 11, this isn't a normal relationship by any means. And because it started when they were younger, some of the Cash Money artists defend it because it's really all they know.
We experienced that shit as a family, you know what I'm saying? It ain't none of your business, you feel me? That's just some G shit about it. Go in now 1 hour face and be like, man, you a bitch. Oh, nigga, you gonna do that online. You ain't about to do that, so don't stop speaking about it.
Come on, man. Nigga, gay is gay, motherfucker. If you touching on motherfuckers' booties and kissing them in the mouth and shit like that, nigga, you gay in the bitch, boy. Nigga, just represent that shit. Ain't no reason to hide that shit, motherfucker. What's wrong with you?
You know what I'm saying? Like, we just used to be like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like somebody hitting somebody on the ass. You know what I'm saying? When they playing basketball, that don't mean they.
What?
Feel me? Every male.
Man, if you hit a nigga on their ass in some basketball, nigga, every bone in your body gay, bitch. What the fuck is this guy talking about, man? Come on, man. See, we used to fuck with you until you done pulled up on some bullshit like this, man. Come on, man. Did you still go say that shit about these boys that done kicked you off the tour and shit like that? They been giving you the ass end of the shit. They don't fuck with you, boy. Nigga, tell the truth, nigga.
Hell, dog. Have some type of gay game.
No, hell no. Hell no, we don't rock
they
like
play with
that,
their homeboy. You know what I'm saying?
We don't fuck around.
No, I don't know what you're saying.
Hell
it's really sad that these dudes are going to war behind Birdman, all because he convinced them that this was normal when they were younger kids. And the craziest part is that they even admit that Birdman would not play with the older Cash Money members like that at all.
Now, he never did that with the older guys like Juvenile, right?
I mean, you know, Juvenile was older now. He never did it with Juvie.
I mean, baby never played with me like that. Don't let me clear that up.
What? Man, shout out Swap, man. He gonna put Buck up there talking about a motherfucker ain't play with him, man. Imagine that.
You understand what I'm saying? I never seen baby play with Juvenile like that.
And even Juvenile would kind of speak out about it.
What kind of cat gonna go on national TV and kiss a cat that ain't his daddy and call him his daddy? You know what I mean? We don't rock like that. I don't know what kind of picture they was trying to paint. This ain't no mafia.
Right, that was cool.
Cash Money wasn't no mafia, you know what I mean? And you definitely...
I ain't gonna lie, Lil Wayne was going hard for them motherfuckers when Cash Money left. You know, everybody done quit that motherfucker. Lil Wayne, he was that nigga over there. And for them the motherfuckers to get everybody back, I know Lil Wayne, like, I don't bet you done had me go against all these niggas. Yeah, I'm glad they're getting his money, man, and he can do what he can do. Man, these boys looking like Cleason.
wasn't a mob boss and nothing like that, so I don't understand where the whole kissing situation came in at. You know what I mean? That's why I'm just here to entertain the foolishness. I'm gonna get rich on punishing Cash Money. That's my game plan. I'm gonna put y'all in it, so y'all better quit now.
Man, I wish Juvie would have stuck to the game plan, man, because you could have got rich and exposed these niggas. But shit, you done tucked your shell and went back to these guys. Shit.
What kind of nigga kiss another man?
Needless to say, Juvenile was sickened by the situation, and finally he spoke out. But either way, the story continues. We shift our focus to positivity as Birdman's genius would continue into the next decade. Lil Wayne's career would reach new heights, and the signings of Drake and Nicki Minaj, well, they speak for themselves. Platinum albums, Billboard songs, and nothing but success for 2 straight decades for Cash Money. Seriously, aside from the shenanigans, Birdman is a true genius. And because of this, he became one of the top 5 richest people in Louisiana, amassing over $150 million net worth. Supercars, Miami mansions, private jets, just splurging money. And because of this lifestyle, you'd think that the other Cash Money artists would be rich too. And that takes us right back to a main topic of surviving Birdman, finessing artists. Allegedly. As we saw in early Cash Money history, financial disputes have always been an underlying theme. It all began in 1997 when UNLV's lawyers discovered a whole lot of missing money. But then in 2002, both BG and Juvenile would leave Cash Money due to unpaid royalties. Then just a couple years later, Turk would actually fall out with Birdman over unpaid money as well. So as you see, this is a recurring trend, and obviously there's a common denominator. However, this didn't just happen during the early Cash Money days, but it also continued into the bigger scale as well. Specifically in 2008, Birdman would sign a young artist named Tyga, and it would take a couple of years, but eventually he would begin popping. By 2012, he was a full-blown celebrity, even having his own shoe. From what we know, everything was good between Tyga and Birdman, and Tyga was actually thankful for Cash Money for putting him on. But then when his contract was up and he began looking for new deals, his lawyers went through his paperwork and were like, yo, you're missing a lot of money. Allegedly, Tyga was never paid for his biggest hit song, Rack City. Oh yeah, they raped your bitch ass too, bitch ass nigga, and you ain't did shit about it. Hell nah. So instantly they take Cash Money to court. A $10 million lawsuit against Birdman. This was no joke. Either way, this left a bad taste in Tyga's mouth. But not just Tyga felt like this, but also DJ Khaled, Currency, and Bow Wow would leave Cash Money as well. Word was getting out that Birdman was finessing his artists, whether it's true or not. At this point, he had fallen out with pretty much every rapper, even one that you would never expect. It's now 2014, and it's been 3 whole years since Lil Wayne has dropped an album. For Wayne, one of the most consistent rappers of all time, this is very strange. Never before has he not been consistent with music. Something has to be up. Well, as it turns out, it's not for a lack of recording, as he has an album, The Carter 5, ready to drop. However, Birdman keeps pushing it back and back and back, a whole 3 years. At this point, the fans and Wayne are extremely frustrated. Where is the album? So this is when Wayne makes a bold decision. He gets up on stage at one of his concerts and says this. This is big because never before has Wayne gone against Birdman, not even in the smallest way possible. As we know, since the beginning, it's been a very one-sided power dynamic. Birdman is daddy, Wayne is son, and Wayne does whatever he says. But now this is a new Wayne, and he finally puts his foot down. On top of this, he even drops a mixtape where he addresses the issue. On a song, he raps, "Did my time at Cash Money, time served and released, but this agent ain't."
Oh man, you had to be around for it. Listen, man, and them squad motherfucking mixtapes and shit like that. Lil Wayne, yeah, he was heating up, man. He was talking that
free.
Shit.
That's word on the streets, basically alluding to the fact that he's done with Cash Money and now it's time to get paid. Oh, but this isn't the end of it, as now he would take to Twitter. He writes, "I am a prisoner and so is my creativity. Again, I'm truly sorry and I don't blame you if you're fed up waiting for me in this album. But thank you." Ooh-wee, Wayne has finally stood up to Birdman. This is a monumental moment for Lil Wayne, but it also begs the question, why is Birdman holding back his album? And I believe that there are 3 potential reasons. Firstly, it could just be a power trip over creative differences. Rumors say Birdman wanted to release it as 2 separate albums, the Carter 5 and the Carter 5.5, but Lil Wayne was not fucking with it. "I just want a Carter 5. I don't care if 2 albums would bring more money." Now, if you're Birdman, this is a minor issue, but because of the power dynamic, he's not going to let Wayne have his way. Because ever since Wayne was a kid,
Birdman saying that all lies on me, do extravagant numbers and shit.
but now that Wayne has his own leverage as an artist, it's really hard to give up that power. And secondly, the next reason could simply be a money dispute. As you'll later see, Birdman owes Wayne a lot of money, and this could be his way of saying, hey, keep complaining about the money and your album will never drop. Like, oh, you think I owe you money? Okay, well, I'm gonna just pause your career and you won't make any money now. Of course, this just sounds like another stupid reason, but when it comes to Birdman, you really just never know. And finally, we have the third reason. Maybe he was just putting Lil Wayne on the shelf. Not because Wayne could no longer sell records, but instead because Cash Money had a new artist on the rise. It's 2014 in Atlanta, Georgia, and a new wave of underground artists are taking over the city, with one in particular standing out more than any other. He's tall, skinny, goofy looking, wears women's clothing, but also has face tats and is certified in the streets. A man like never seen before in the rap game, but also a guy you'd see on every corner in Atlanta.
Oh, yes, daddy.
But even though at this time it seems like a hard sell for the rap game, Birdman sees something special in him. He believes that he can be a superstar, specifically Cash Money's next legend. And coincidentally, at this time, Birdman is developing his next generation of artists, known as Rich Gang. First he had the Hot Boys, then the Cash Money Millionaires, then Young Money, and now he's looking for the next generation. So in March of 2014, Birdman officially signs Young Thug, and it's an instant sensation. First he drops a song called Hookah that does instant numbers, and then he follows it up with the biggest hit of them all.
Lifestyle in the beginning.
You guys already know, this song took over the rap game instantly and really took over the whole music scene. And Birdman was like, I got another star on my hands. So of course, as a smart businessman, this is where all of his focus goes. And in my opinion, all of the three reasons I stated previously are why Birdman was not letting Wayne drop his album. Being petty over creative differences, having a strange power trip over him, and genuinely focusing on Young Thug. Now obviously in this situation, Wayne is frustrated and angry, and we all would be too.
Hold on, man. So damn, they're talking about Lil Wayne and Birdman. Yeah, Birdman, he tried to chef him like, nigga, you ain't about to get on here, motherfucker. Fuck you. We got Young Thug. He about to act just like you, motherfucker.
The dude who used to call you a son and kiss you on the lips is not paying you your money, not letting you drop your album, and is replacing you with the zesty rapper from Atlanta?
That's the zesty rapper.
I'd be pissed too, but this is who we know Birdman really is. He'll take advantage of you, he'll finesse you, he'll create a dynamic where he's the father and you're the son, and he has no loyalty to you at all. So finally after this, enough was enough, and Lil Wayne would take him to court. In January of 2015, he officially sues him for $10 million. The lawsuit alleges that Birdman is breaking the contract by not dropping the album and that he owes him the money from the album on top of it. So now with Wayne's disses on stage and on the mixtape, and then now the civil suit, their relationship is definitely on ice. And sadly, this is when Birdman's true shiesty character would reveal itself once again. Birdman's next genius step, pinning Lil Wayne and Young Thug against each other. Why this is genius for Birdman, you'll see in a second. Firstly, he brings Young Thug around Lil Wayne, knowing that this would not go well. It's like your ex who treated you like shit and finessed you for your money, introducing you to their new partner and expecting it to go well. Like, bro, get the fuck out of my face with that shit. So as you'd expect, Lil Wayne is not feeling this, and the Young Thug definitely takes it personally.
You see him, you inspired, you walk up, you like, what's up, Wayne, what's up, Weezy? I'm the newest member, what's up, man? And it was just like,
man, y'all gotta know Lil Gilly. Shout out Gilly, man, before he was with the $1 million worth of game, man. That motherfucker was on Lil Wayne ass like a back pocket. He said he made Lil Wayne, motherfucker, he done wrote his raps and everything. Nigga, that was a campaign.
What's up, nigga? Man, that goddamn, the first day that goddamn didn't dap me up. Oh, just left you hanging? Tried me. Yeah, then goddamn, you know, it just kept going on. One time I dapped him up, this how he dapped me. That one like, I'm like, hey, listen, bro. If I touch your hand again, I'm a hoe anyway. Right. I'm never touching your hand again.
Right. It's almost like Birdman knew that this was going to happen because it played right into his hands. Because now Young Thug is not feeling Lil Wayne, and let me just remind you that Thug is nothing to play with. So right after this, Thug does the most disrespectful and petty thing possible. He previews his next album, an album called The Carter 6. Nah, bruh, this is the ultimate disrespect. And to do this while signed to Cash Money, at this point, Lil Wayne might be the most mistreated artist in rap history. Because what do you mean you won't drop my album, you won't pay me my money, and now you're gonna let your new artist make my album? Disagreements aside, you'd think that Birdman would treat his quote-unquote son much better than this. But from here, it only gets worse. Thug then posts a video saying that he's gonna drop the Carter 6 and that he's gonna perform it in Lil Wayne's home neighborhood of Hollygrove.
Yeah, YSL. Carter 6 coming out Friday, first show in Hollygrove. Fuck nigga, meet me there, beat me there.
At the end of the video, he even shows some choppers, and many can interpret this as a threat.
With them dicks too, nigga. Yeah.
This took everything to the next level. Birdman successfully got Young Thug and Lil Wayne to beef. And if you know anything about Young Thug and his crew in the streets of Atlanta, you'll see. On April 5th, 2015, Lil Wayne goes on stage, disses Birdman, and says, "Fuck Cash Money."
Carter 5 coming soon. Fuck Cash Money.
Even though this is somewhat of a mild response given what they've been doing to him, Birdman and Young Thug are not feeling this. And that fast forwards us exactly 3 weeks, April 26, 2015. It's a Sunday afternoon and Lil Wayne is headed from Miami to Atlanta in his tour bus. At 10 p.m., he's set to perform at a club on the west side of the city, and given his beef with Young Thug, well, who knows? But let's just say that Wayne really isn't worried about it and he's just there to get his money. So at 8 p.m., his tour bus arrives and he walks in the club with his entourage. As he's chilling backstage doing a meet and greet, a random man that he doesn't recognize gets all in his face. So of course, Wayne's security shove him back and began dragging him out of the club. As he's being removed, the man yells out, "This is my city, and fuck you, I'll spray up your tour bus." Now Wayne, not recognizing who this is, he's not worried about it. It could just be a dude high out of his mind. But little does he know, this is Young Thug's road manager, a man by the name of Jimmy Winfrey. And allegedly, this dude has put some serious work in the streets, and he's been ordered to do something to Wayne. Of course, nobody in Wayne's crew knows this, and the night goes by without them thinking about it. So Wayne safely performs at the club, gets paid, and hops on his tour bus headed to a hotel. As the tour bus heads up Interstate 75, little do they know a disgruntled Jimmy Winfrey is following them at a distance, 3 cars back in a white tinted up Camaro with the Glock in his hand. In the other hand is his iPhone, and he's on the phone with Young Thug. At 12:30 a.m., he hangs up the phone call. And this is when he speeds up, pulls right next to the tour bus, lowers down his window, and absolutely unleashes. Thankfully, everyone is okay, and Lil Wayne walks away from the situation untouched. But either way, this was a scary incident, and it was an obvious attempt on Lil Wayne's life. At first, everyone was speculating who did this, and of course, everyone had a clue. Did Young Thug really just have someone go?
So Lil Wayne a real motherfucker or a dumbass nigga, man. Come on, man.
After Wayne because of their silly little beef. And just a couple days later, all of the suspicions would be confirmed. Jimmy Winfrey, also known as Pee Wee Roscoe, is arrested for the shooting. And here's where things get even crazier. Right after Pee Wee is booked into jail, who do you think is the first person to call him? It's obviously Young Thug, right? Nope, think again. Birdman? Yep, and here's what he says.
After you come out here and get your money, well, my nigga, you done blessed. You did everything you could do, bro. It's an eye opener, bro. You know what I'm saying? How you on that strictly business, man?
Damn, not Birdman.
Whoa, this is the nail in the coffin. After trying to kill Lil Wayne by shooting up his tour bus, Birdman calls you and says,
"Come get your money, you did everything you could."
So using our logical brains, Birdman put money on Lil Wayne's head. Your whole rationale behind kissing him on the lips is that you're his father and that he's your son. But what kind of father would put money on his own son's head? All because Wayne finally stood up to him and took him to court for the money he's owed. So once again, Lil Wayne is a victim of surviving Birdman. And now you might be wondering, with this recorded phone call, will Birdman be arrested for this? I mean, he literally told on himself. How could he not be arrested? This is because Jimmy Winfrey would decide to close his mouth and basically say that Birdman had nothing to do with it. And because of this, he'd get 10 years in prison.
Man who shot up tour buses belonging to rapper Lil Wayne pleaded guilty and accepted a 10-year prison sentence. He had until today to take a deal.
However, Winfrey...
So homeboy took that shit on the chest. He says, man, fuck that, man. It was just me. Birdman ain't do shit about this, nigga. Fuck Lil Wayne, nigga. I tried to kill him. He got 10 years for that.
His attorney argues that he was always innocent and he only had to take the deal because of racism.
Manny Aurora believes his client, Jimmy Winfrey, could have beaten most of the 27 charges in the indictment. But the prosecutorial mood against gangs and gang members in Cobb County is tough.
Anytime you say the word gang and there's an African-American individual, prejudices rear their ugly head, and that's just the reality of the way it is.
Winfrey will spend 10 years in prison for the April incident on I-285. He was indicted on 27 counts, including a rarely, if ever, used charge that references domestic terrorism. Charges Winfrey pled to are gang-related counts, DA Vic Reynolds making no apology for his take-no-prisoners approach to gang charges.
If you come to Cobb County, you shoot at a bus. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but this gentleman shot at a bus over some beef that started in Atlanta. We're not going to tolerate that.
So somehow Birdman avoids consequences for his actions once again. All of the nonsense of the past that he somehow slithers out of. But ultimately, in my opinion, this was a message sent. Lil Wayne, I will get you killed. After Jimmy takes the charge and stays silent, Birdman wipes his hands of Lil Wayne and the situation as a whole. And as he usually does, he moves on without a care in the world and focuses on his very next task, developing the next generation of Atlanta. In particular, he wants Rich Gang to be Cash Money's next biggest star. But in order to do this, he must sign Rich Homie Quan, who currently is the biggest rapper out of Atlanta. However, despite some very large cash offerings, Rich Homie Quan is hesitant to sign with Birdman, and here's why. After their mega hit song Lifestyle, Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan were allegedly not compensated for it. This is because the song was published under the artist name of Rich Gang, which is owned by Birdman himself, meaning that supposedly Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan didn't have any rights to it. But let's just say that Rich Homie Quan is not feeling this at all. He feels like he got finessed for a massive hit, and because of this, he takes a step back from Cash Money. Instead, he considers signing with a longtime friend by the name of Donovan Thomas, also known as Big Nut.
Big what? Big, huh?
This Nut guy also has a close relationship with Thug as well, as you can see them in the studio together.
Hey, this one shit can start getting real, man. Y'all need to check this. Hey, tap in right here. Getting real.
They're hanging out together. Let's just say that he's always around, he helps out with the music, and because of this, Rich Homie Quan really trusts him. And although Nut doesn't have Birdman type of money, he does have a label called Think It's a Game, and it's actually on the rise. He's already got a rising artist in YFN Lucci, and things are looking really good. So word gets out that Rich Homie Quan is thinking of signing with Big Nut, and here's what happens. On one hand, Young Thug is completely cool with it, like, hey bro, go get your money. But on the other hand, Birdman is not so thrilled. As we know, he does not like seeing artists slip from his grasp, especially when he feels like he discovered them early. So quickly, this turns into a situation where in his mind, Rich Homie Quan and Think It's a Game are rivals of Cash Money. And unfortunately, this causes tension between Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan. Well, kind of a one-sided beef. This is bad news because Young Thug does not run alone. In fact, his street crew, YSL, is nothing to play with. And after allegedly shooting up Lil Wayne's tour bus for him, we know that they'll crash out for Birdman. In fact, Birdman is so locked in with YSL that he actually gets it tatted on his finger.
I think Birdman got YSL tattooed on his arm or something.
That one of his hands, his finger or something like that. Yeah.
On top of this, the YSL members even consider him family.
Like we really looked at Bird like our real family. Like we call him Unc. Like it got to the point where I didn't even have to be with Thug or call. Like he would call my phone sometimes. Like nephew, where you at? I'm on the way to Atlanta. Like me and him got a real cool relationship.
As we know, anything involving Birdman is nothing to play with. But YSL plus Birdman, that's danger in the streets. But to be clear, neither is the Rich Homie and Big Nut side, as they do have the Inglewood family bloods behind them. However, they don't have what Young Thug has, a real crash out. This would be in the form of a troubled bald man by the name of Kenneth Copeland, also known as YSL Woody. And because the Cash Money YSL side now have a problem with Big Nut and Rich Homie Quan, YSL Woody would be called to duty. September 27th, 2014. It's a Saturday morning in Northwest Atlanta, and Rich Homie Quan's dad is working at his barbershop. As he's cutting hair and talking shit, a man in a mask walks in. And without even saying a word, he pulls out a blick from his waistband and starts letting off at Quan's father. Thankfully, he would survive after being rushed to the hospital, but either way, this was just an evil move.
And I go see him every day. You feel me? Like, to this day, my dad still is in the hospital, bro. And I mean, like,
he's still in the hospital?
Yeah, he's still in the hospital. You know what I mean? My dad been in the hospital for 2.5 months. You know, like, that shit hurt, it hurt me.
Can you imagine your innocent dad getting shot up because you wanted to sign with another label? Or maybe it's deeper than that. But either way, shooting an innocent man is just evil in itself. But that was the point of doing this, as YSL Woody admits that he only did it to send a message.
Me and Threat shot up Rich Homie Quan Dad barbershop on Bankhead. They was beefing. And yeah, we pulled up and did that. So did you go to the shop looking for Rich Homie Quan? No, we went to send a message.
This was one brutal message. I mean, to shoot someone's dad because you have an issue with them? Whew. But now this begs the important question. Do you think that Birdman had any role in this? And I'm not even saying a role in ordering it or wanting this to happen, but I mean a role in what led to it. But either way, sadly, this would not be the end of the violence. That fast forwards us to January 10th, 2015, 8 p.m. It's a Saturday night in Southwest Atlanta, and Big Nut is getting his haircut at the Hair Unlimited barbershop.
Oh, no.
By 8:30, his cut is finished, and the barbershop closes down. So everyone clears out, and now it's just Big Nut and his homies standing outside in the parking lot. Well, little does he know, a crew of 5 YSL members know where he is, and they're on their way. At 8:38, the car creeps down McDaniel Street, sees them outside, pulls up, and absolutely unleashes. This is one of the biggest losses in Atlanta street history. The head of a music label gunned down by a rival crew for, well, who knows what reason. But this loss was so monumental that it completely divided the streets of Atlanta. According to Atlanta police, a war would stem from this that claimed over 50 bodies over the next 2 years. But now we have to ask the important question. Is Birdman the root of all of this? Pinning Young Thug against his former friend Rich Homie Quan because Quan wanted to sign with Big Nut? Is that the root of all this beef? Well, other than YSL Woody bringing up Birdman as a key factor in the courtroom, there's really no proof to prove this. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. But regardless if the answer is yes or no, what we do know is that Birdman would of course wipe his hands of the situation and just move on. And that brings us down to one final topic, which is actually pretty sad. That takes us back to our very first victim of surviving Birdman, Terrence Gangsta Williams. As we know, Baby took Terrence on a mission and had him catch a body at just 11 years old. This obviously destroyed Terrence's innocence and led him down a path of a truly evil life. His life became consumed with violence, and he was obsessed with doing whatever it takes to knock down his big brother's opponents. So sadly, in his early years, he caught over 20 bodies in the New Orleans streets, mostly to benefit his big brother's organization. Well, in 2001, this wild lifestyle would finally come to an end, as he'd get raided by the feds and locked up for life. Well, after 23 years of being locked down, Terrence wanted a new turn on life and freedom. So in order to accomplish this, he gave up 23 Hot Boys murders to the feds, and they let him out. Now you might be thinking,
damn, he snitched bad.
But that's not really the case. Let me explain. Everyone he told on is no longer with us, with him being the only surviving Hot Boys member. Meaning, everyone he told on is already dead. So, is this really snitching? I say, hell no. But guys like Boosie see this completely differently.
I mean, number one, do you think cooperating about someone who's dead, is that considered snitching in your book?
Yeah, of course. I have no type of respect for him anymore. You know what I'm saying? You can take that gangster shit off your name, man. Real shit, man. That shit hurt me when I heard about that shit.
Well, thankfully, Boosie's opinion means nothing to Terrence, because he'd rather be home enjoying life than stuck in a prison cell abiding by stupid street codes. Now, after everything he's done for him, you'd think that his multimillionaire big brother would help him out. But nope, because of the silly street codes, he goes ghost on his little brother.
Man, I ain't his brother, bro.
After forcing him into being a killer, and then he dedicates his life to defending your organization, and you won't even help him out? That's cold-blooded. But then again, after watching this whole video, what did you expect?
Welcome to drill time, in real time. Mixed in with the lemon cherry. What that mean? I call a hat if we put him in the cemetery. You boys aren't no killers, y'all shoot in the air. Tap you in the head and you fall when the music stop. Musical chairs, I get the drop, doors go pop. Who with me? 6 + 5 got more than Q50. Jada said fully shooting that bricks and keep missing. We document everything and keep this. Keep the pole only like we fishing. Approaching 50,000 subs, so keep listening. I had to work on the high beam, stacked it back up tall as Yella mean. Dog thought he got over on the funds, but now I trolling my songs. He brought the streets to the internet, should've left the beef where it belonged. Now little shorty 12 with a gun in the bag, get the rate going. He'll have 100 hacks when he get about 16, but right now he in the lead, running back. One of the ops got hit in the throat when he grabbed his neck, it was all she wrote. Took his breath before he even spoke, hit it in his whole hood. No, I got smoke with him, a broke hitter. Made me reach my apex and pull my trigger out. Although I heard a voice say, put that thing away, this is something you can figure out. Drill time, TV, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button.